Guys, are you staying 4 shots ahead of your opponent? If you're not doing this already, now's a good time to start learning how. And so today, we're going to talk about it. Let's talk tennis. Good morning, tennis world. Welcome back to the Tennis Scholar. Thank you for riding with me this morning. So over the last couple days, guys, we've touched a lot on intent. We've talked about what intent is, why it's important to tennis. So today we're going to progress a little bit further. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple exercises you can do to train your mind so that you can get better at shot selection. Alright guys, so let me first start by stating that most students are not going to have the mental discipline to be able to execute something like this. It does require mental strength and stamina. However, just like building up cardio, the more you do it, the better you get at it and the longer you can sustain it. Okay? That being said, let's jump right in, guys. So yesterday I mentioned, guys, that you don't really have a lot of time to think while you're playing a match. And so what we have to do is we have to learn to organize our tennis thoughts so that we can recall them more efficiently. And so it's kind of like when you open up a drawer and you don't have your clothes organized, everything's all over the place. How would you find something? You'd eventually find it, but it's going to take you longer. And so again, that's a luxury that we don't have on the tennis court. And so if you organize everything, then you'll find everything a lot quicker. And so that's essentially what we're trying to accomplish here. And so the idea is going to be to get organized enough to eventually be able to stay 4 shots ahead of any opponent. And that's going to allow your body to prepare in time for just about every shot, in most cases even prior to your opponent hitting his or her shot. So let me say that again in case you just did a double take. Yes, in most cases, prior to your opponent hitting his or her next shot. And if you don't think that's possible, that's okay. We'll get there. Now, the sky's the limit on this. You can eventually aim to get as far as 6, 7, 8, however many shots you want ahead of your opponent. Okay? But I've found that staying 4 shots ahead of your opponent is a favorable place to be in a match, and a place that most players can get to without having to be a mental genius. So how do we get there, guys? The first thing you have to do is learn to simplify everything. This is going to allow for clarity, and it's going to allow you to see things that you may not have picked up on before because your mind was too busy with other things. We're not going to be able to achieve this if we've got too many things unorganized in our heads. Alright guys, so I know you guys want to know what the exercise is, but before we talk about it real quick, keep in mind that it has to be done, this exercise has to be done in competition. You're not going to get the same effect if you're doing this in practice. Okay? It has to be done under pressure. Also guys, when I mention a side of the court, keep in mind that you guys have targets that you guys have practice hitting with your coaches, and so use those. Okay, for generalization purposes, I'm gonna either go say backhand or forehand side, but by all means don't make your targets that wide. Okay, and if you don't know where your target should be, have your coach designate them for you. Okay. Alright, so exercise number 1, the simplification process. Pick a side to hit to, whether it's the backhand side or the forehand side, and for an entire match, hit every single ball to that side, including the serves. It's important to note, guys, that it has to be every single shot. The consistency of the exercise has to be there, or you're not going to get the effect you need with this exercise. Alright, real quick on another side note, guys, in case you haven't picked up on this yet, this is obviously going to be one of those tournaments that you're not going to win. You're going to practice. If you haven't seen that video, you can check that video out here. It was titled Maximize Your Tennis Potential Through Tournaments. Alright, so let's continue, guys. So you are going to have to forego the score and any impulses to try to win. And so if you're successful, these are some of the things that you're looking to achieve. So first, you're going to allow your mind not to have to worry about where your opponent is. 2, you're going to allow your mind to not have to worry about where your next shot has to go. 3, you're going to allow your mind not to have to worry about the score and who's winning. Okay? And 4, which really clears up a lot of space in there, is you're going to allow your mind to not have to worry about any thoughts of strategy. And so this includes everything from trying to figure out your opponent, what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are, what they're doing, if they've adapted to your strategy. All of that is freed up. Okay? And so once you've freed up your mind from all these thoughts, you're going to soon realize that you have a lot of time to make observations. And that's really the goal here. One of the first things you'll notice right away is that you don't have to think about setting up for a shot, because you already know where you're hitting every time. Your body automatically starts adjusting for that shot right away. And so you'll start to notice things in the match that you probably haven't noticed before. So once you've freed up your mind long enough, you can start making observations again. You can start to notice your opponent's movements, what shots they favor, what movements they favor. And you'll also start to notice that certain shots open up on the court. Now, fight the urge to hit them, just notice them for now. Continue this exercise until you become comfortable with it and efficient at it, okay? So realistically, guys, the first time you try this, you're probably going to be able to succeed in it for maybe the first 2 minutes. And that's okay, guys. It's going to take time and practice, just like anything. The first mile you ever ran, you probably didn't finish without stopping, okay? So stay with it and keep at it. If you're really good, if you're really committed to the exercise, in your first tournament you can start to see results. Guys, that's all the time I have for today. Tomorrow we'll continue on with the next exercise. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to leave comments below, subscribe, give me a thumbs up if I've earned it. And as always, guys, stay engaged. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.